I'm Carrie.
I'm Tony, and we are
Two Cranky Creatives.
Thank you for listening. And remember, if you're impatient, allergic to ads, or just want to support our cranky little corner of the podcast world, join the Cranky Club. Subscribers get ad-free episodes and early access. Yep, a whole week early. Hit subscribe and join the club.
What are we cranky about today, Elizabeth?
I am cranky that there are no straight lines to success as a professional surface pattern designer.
Oh my God. I could not have said that better myself. So succinct, so true. So everyone, today Tony and I are joined by the amazing Elizabeth Silver. And Elizabeth, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Of course. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I am Elizabeth Silver, and I have been a professional surface pattern designer for over 20 years now. And I started my career working in-house as a staff designer, but for the last 13 years, I have been an independent surface designer, freelancing, licensing my art. And in the last 5 years, I've shared a lot about that journey through my YouTube channel and my blogs and courses that I offer. And so I have a lot of opinions about it.
That's awesome.
That's what we're here for.
We have you. Yeah.
Perfect.
The opinions are why the show exists. So good.
Absolutely.
So define for us what you mean. Talk to us about there are no straight lines.
Yeah. So, I just think about some other careers, and I'm sure this is outside looking in, but, you think about some other careers where like becoming a nurse or becoming, I don't know, a plumber or something. And it's like, you go to school for a set amount of time, you get whatever certification is needed in that thing, and then you just are that thing. And you just,
Right.
Even if you're starting your own business, like, yes, you have to get clients and stuff, but like, you're certified, you can do it, whatever.
Right.
But that doesn't exist in surface pattern design. There are so many ways to make money, but there are also so many kind of like gatekeepers in,
Right.
art direction and everything. There's so many people who are successfully using their art and getting it on products, but, between licensing and freelance and selling your work outright and print on demand and even working as a staff designer, there are just so many possible routes to get there, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, because
Right.
it can be very overwhelming.
And
Right.
confusing, I think.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
because
think-
it's like I can imagine a lot of false starts. I've done that
Mhm.
where I'm
Sure.
like, should I do this? And then I start going down that path and I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to. Well, okay, wait, but now what do I do? And you kind of
Right.
start all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like if you look up surface pattern design or surface design on Google, the only result should be it depends.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It really does, because it can be all over the place. And PS, none of them are easy. Right.
True.
That's the thing. Like, none of them are like, people ask me, I talk about different, all these different types of income sources, and people are like, well, which one's the easiest? Which one's the fastest? Which one's the one that's like, if I knew that,
Right.
I
We'd
would,
all be millionaires.
yeah, exactly. It's like, it depends. It's that definition of it depends. It depends on your skill set. It depends on your previous experience. It depends on, the art directors who are going to receive your art and what they think of it. It depends on the trends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it can be really easy to get that shiny object syndrome trying to build a profitable business, because you put 3 months into something and you still haven't gotten any payment for it. So you're like, oh, maybe this isn't the thing. And then you put 3 months into something else and you still didn't get any payment. And you're like, wait a second, hold on. Because if I was a plumber, I would have been through my certification by now,
Right.
So it starts to
Right.
it starts to be tricky. It starts to be tricky to, stay really focused when a lot of it is front loading to get that experience and to build that, portfolio and to make those connections and build those relationships with potential clients. And And, you know, it is a lot of work up front. It takes a long time. So that can be really frustrating. And I don't blame people for being cranky about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the intangible unknowns that you don't know are waiting out there that are going to help you out. Like I had to reach out for a children's book and they told me they'd been watching me for 2 years, but they had no interaction with me at all.
So they were stalking you?
They were a follower on my Instagram that I had never heard of.
Which is cool. But
yeah, I mean, it's great, but I'm like, I wasn't nurturing that relationship. They were watching me, but I didn't know they were there. So it took 2 years for us to make contact, but there was nothing for me to do in that. Right. Is what I'm trying to say, because I didn't know they were a random account. And like, when I figured out who they were, they're not even, it's obviously it's a private personal account. And I will never ask to follow as a business, a private account.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like,
so the best you could have done is what I assume you were doing, which is continuing to post your art and talking about what you do and showing off your work. And it's like, that isn't enough for people who are trying to, it doesn't feel like enough for people who are starting a career or want to build a career. It's like, okay, I've been posting on Instagram. I can't just wait 2 years and hope someone reaches out,
Exactly.
So that's why that, like, not having that clear path can be really frustrating.
Exactly. Yeah. And, it was funny. I did a coaching call today, as a matter of fact. And the thing that I think, I have 3 coaching calls that I've scheduled for the next 2 weeks, and every single one of them asking me the same thing. I want to know how to successfully build a multi-stream income so that I can be a full-time artist, right? They all have full-time jobs. And so the coaching call I did today, she was saying, I want to do art full-time, but I have a full-time job. I want to be a full-time artist. And the more she talked, I said, let me let you know something. I said, every full-time, and I did the full-time artist I know is not doing art full-time.
Right.
Right. They're not making art full-time. They're doing the administration. Lots are teaching, lots are coaching. Right. That's not making art. I said to reframe it a little bit, what you want to do is you want to leave your 9-to-5 corporate job. Like that's what
you're gonna have. Right. Yeah, exactly.
But you're not going to be a full-time artist unless unless you get lucky. You're not going to be a full-time artist.
Yeah.
And you're going to be doing other things.
Another thing too about, Elizabeth, you touched on a lot of different income streams that many people do all of the things like print on demand and art licensing. Like, let's say you come up with a piece of art. You're like, okay, cool. I'm going to pitch this to companies. While I'm waiting on the companies, I'm going to put it on print on demand. Then I'm going to post it on social media and I'm going to market it. Then I'm going to, whatever, do all these things with it, or teach a class on, how I came up with this art. And the thing is that it's amazing that there are so many ways to earn income from, let's say, this one piece of art. But the problem is too, that when you're doing all the things, because I'm speaking from experience here, when I'm doing all the things, I end up spread too thin. So if I could really dedicate 100%, not 100, that's impossible because, I've got other stuff to do. But if I could dedicate more than 50% of my time to one of those things, knowing that one thing would bring in the requisite amount of income based on my time spent, then it would be worth doing that. But it's rare that happens. It's typical that you have to have a mix of royalties from licensing and print on demand and teaching and all the things to pay your bills, to put all the little jobs together to pay your bills. But the problem is that, there are all these income streams, there's no straight line. And then you can end up trying to do all of the things burnt out and spread too thin. And then you're like kind of half-assing a lot of stuff because that's all you have time to do.
No, that's a thing. That is like the trap about multiple streams of income. It's like people, all artists, every artist is talking about like, oh, I have multiple streams of income we're coming up, on time when people are sharing their pie charts of how they earned whatever, their full income based on, a third of this and a quarter of this and royalties of this and whatever. And we all do have multiple streams of income. But as I tell people, it's like, you shouldn't try to start 4 businesses at once. Like having an Etsy store could be its own business. Having a, licensing career could be its own thing. Obviously, all these things take time to build, but if you are trying to build 4 of them at once or 5 of them at once, you're really, you're setting yourself up for burnout, as you point out. And one analogy that I heard once that I was like, yeah, that's exactly it, is like, if you had 5 soccer balls, you were trying to get to a goal, kicking each of them like 2 feet and going back and starting again and kicking each of them 2 feet closer and closer and closer, versus focusing on getting 1 there or 2 there is like going to be way faster. You'll get those 2 into the goal faster than, going back and forth among, 5 balls. And so it's just like, it is, but it's tough because you, again, like I said, you put the 3 months into one thing, like, I'm just going to focus on Spoonflower for 3 months. And then but again, if you've got 1 sale, you're like, okay, now I need to figure something else because I didn't bring any money in yet.
Right.
Or I brought in $3 or whatever it is. And so, so it can be really tricky. But yeah.
Yeah, the advice I tend to give to the individuals I coach is, yes, you want a multiple income stream career, but you build them one at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
And generally, like, for me personally, I probably need to start saying this more, but it didn't occur to me in the call. But for me personally, until it can pay for itself, it's not successful. Right. So like, I think you should be focusing on an individual stream until it can pay for itself. Like, that should be the only thing you're really concerned about. And because there's always fees of some kind, right? And I mean, including your time at some level.
That's the biggest thing to pay for.
Has no fees, but the time you have to put into it is immense. Yeah.
Right. And so like, and once it can pay for itself, then think about adding another stream on top of that, And again, I'm thinking about, I'm not thinking about that like I do in-person workshops. Like, I'm not thinking about that as part of this. When I have time, I do an in-person workshop, whatever. But things that involve these platforms, things where you're paying for hosting, things where you're, putting your time in and hoping you make sales. Like, especially Etsy, because you paid to set the store up, and now you're paying listing fees. Maybe you're paying ad fees. Maybe you're paying fees to the analysis, apps that are out there helping you make it better,
and the mock-up software that you purchase, right?
So those are costs of operation. And one of the biggest pet peeves I have about the way surface pattern design is marketed is it's marketed more like anybody can do it, and not and yes, that is a truism. Anybody can do it. Yeah. But what is not, I think, made plain is that you are a business if you are going to do it. And you need to think about it at some level from a business perspective. So you need to think about your costs that you're putting in. You need to think about your return on your investment. And you need to analyze these things. What is your cost benefit analysis? At the end of the year, I think everybody should be doing a cost benefit analysis. I spent 300 hours this year on Etsy and I made 2 sales. Maybe Etsy's not for you.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe you need to sit down and look at doing it differently.
Correct.
Maybe you've been spinning your wheels, or you haven't been able to put the time into it. That's why you've made 2 sales, because you slapped a bunch of stuff up there and didn't really think about SEO and, stuff like that, because that is important.
Because as artists, we want to do the fun stuff, right? We want to draw a new product. We want to draw a new design or illustration. So it's like, I did the best I could. Let me get back to my Procreate or Illustrator or whatever. And all the marketing stuff falls to the wayside. And that's why, I definitely think it's so important. And as, we've already said, if you're going to be an artist, you are also, if you're going to be independent, if you're running your own business, you have to do all these things. You have to do the marketing. You have to do, eventually, hopefully you can pay someone to do it. But if you're trying to keep your startup costs low, you have to do the art, and you have to do the marketing, and you have to do the website tweaking and the SEO and write blog posts. So to bring people to whatever it is, you need to be doing those things. And that's the part where, we didn't sign up for this. That wasn't why we got into this business, because we wanted to, do YouTube videos about our watercolor designs or whatever it is. We did it because we love, the creative part of it. I'd say I'm lucky because I did sort of get into the marketing side of it. I mean, I'm not like an expert marketer, but I'm like, I take that side of it. I'm like, I take it pretty seriously and I'm okay with it. Like I kind of enjoy some of it and like trying to crack that code, but it's a real pain for a lot of artists, because that just isn't their skill set and they don't want it to become their skill set. So it's something that you have to consider if you're going to be an independent business.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of undue pressure on, young, I don't want to say young because that implies I'm talking about age, but I mean like in the industry, young in the industry.
Right. Newer
artists, thank you, newer artists. I think some of that comes from, this is my perception. I don't think Shannon McNabb covers this in her industry survey, but my perception is you have a lot of like corporate dropouts. It's like, I left this and now I'm going to go do this. And to me, it's like walking into a casino with your rent money. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're walking into it like, this is my only source of income, I must make money. Right? Yeah. There is such an undue pressure on you at that point, because on any average, like this is the average across all industries, new businesses take 2 to 5 years to turn a true profit.
Yes.
Right.
Our business included.
Exactly. 2 to 5 years, and heaven forbid you're a restaurant. It's going to, that's a whole different thing.
Oh yeah.
But so 2 to 5 years to make money. And I'm not talking about you made the one sale on Etsy or you sold the one swatch on Spoonflower. I mean, sustainable, where you are turning a profit or breaking even. Right. And so there's this pressure on all of these, new artists to make money. And I think that's what leads to, I'm going to do POD and I'm going to do Etsy and I'm going to do wholesale and I'm going to do, all of these things and not do any. And I was guilty. Like I did exactly.
Same.
Oh yeah. Me too.
Exactly that. And then I walked away from it all. I was like, okay, I know freelance. Let's just go back to what I know for a minute and then figure out where I want to focus next.
Yeah.
And, and in doing that, I made the classic mistakes. I did the same thing, that everybody does. I burned out. I almost quit, and it's like, and I was just talking to my husband the other day, because I think in terms of surface design, I've been doing it for 5 years, but I was like, wow, I just ran all the numbers and it's like, wow, this is actually my best year, and it was my best year walking away from 3 of the income streams that I was doing half-assed.
That's awesome. Yeah. So less work, but more
ish.
Because in theory, right.
Well,
but you still ended up doing better.
Yeah.
But with more focus.
Yes, with more focus. Yeah. And the numbers say I did better. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And so to your point, just what you said about new businesses is so true for surface designers. I have asked this question in Advice for Artists Facebook group a couple of years ago. I said, established surface designers. I took a poll. I got about 100 responses of how long did it take you? How many years did it take you to make what you consider a full-time income? I didn't like to, define what that was, but, and I think it was about 85% was three and above, because I had 3 to 4 years and then I had 4+ years. I think 75% was like 4+ years, but 3 to 4 was maybe like 10. I can't remember the exact things, but basically most people were over 3 years in our business who are established surface designers. So so that is, true for our industry as well as across the board for new businesses. So and I tell people that too. And when I have people who I coach who are like, okay, so can I get up and running in 6 months? Like, what can I expect to earn part-time income in 6 months? And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but no, you actually can't. I'm sorry. I wish I could say, yes, you can try this, and this, but like, it's unlikely. Like, is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's very tough.
It's very tough. And I think the unfortunate thing, and I'm not saying that anybody should be saying this, but that doesn't sell classes.
It sure doesn't. Yeah. I do say, I have been trying to say it, but I say it really, you can't, look, you have
no,
to.
we just come out and say it.
I know. I mean, I say like, this will get my class, like, so I do have a class, Start Your Surface Pattern Business, right? And so I do tell people, I say like, it takes a long time to build a surface pattern business. This will give you the direction and this will give you the motivation. But like, I won't say like, this will give you a surface design business. It's like,
right.
no,
Yeah, because it can't.
It's just not true. It's impossible. Yeah.
It's just not true. And I know some people that are gently saying that in their classes. And I respect that. If you say it at any level, I respect it. But I guess where I was, being a little snarky about it is like, it's not something that's prevalent in our industry that anyone's going, you can do this and expect not to make a cent for a good 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know it's true.
Because
nobody wants to hear that though. Like nobody, I mean, obviously nobody should be saying that and they do, but the thing is nobody wants to hear like, hey, you want to be an artist full time? Cool. Have you got 3 years to like put your nose to the grindstone and like do a lot of like boring stuff to like set everything up?
A lot of boring stuff, some fun stuff, but a lot.
Well,
of
I mean, there's fun stuff too, but
and that's what keeps people going, right? The people who really truly love can't stay away from pattern or illustration or whatever. That's what fuels them, because I mean, as we would also talk about, you're probably not going to get rich either. So like the people who are saying that you can do it in 6 months and you can make $100,000 in a year or whatever wild claims some people make. No. Like you can maybe, support yourself after 3 to 5 years, but again, you're still not going to be rich about it. Like, I mean, if you are there are some exceptions.
It's definitely possible.
I do know some exceptions, but it's unlikely.
This is just me being snarky again, but do y'all remember? I don't watch live TV anymore. It probably still happens, but like back in the day, like Jenny Craig, and they'd have this like really skinny woman, and then across the bottom in tiny letters, it would say results not typical.
Yeah. Yep. I have that in one of my marketing emails. I say something like, this probably won't like, land you with a bag of cash at the end of the like 8 weeks. And then I write like, if it does, results are not typical. Like tell someone about it, because that sounds very unlikely, but just again, with that tongue in cheek, like, look, we have to be realistic. But
exactly.
So that's advertising 101 though. I mean, it's the psychological, it's the aspirational dream, which is what draws a lot of people in. They're sitting at these jobs that maybe they hate in some office where they're, feeling their soul sucking happening. And then they're like, oh, I just want to imagine myself on a beach drawing on an iPad and, then magically like sending the file to someone and making $1,000 a month on that one piece of art or whatever.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And it's a dream. I mean, it's a great dream. And that is the dream that I guess keeps a lot of people going.
Yeah.
But
and for all my snark, I want to say it's a valid dream.
Of course it is. I have that dream. I've always had that dream.
Right. And it's great and it's lovely. And, you can have success in all of these other things. I think and maybe this is me and the fact that my background is actually business and I've got a stupid MBA and all that other stuff.
Don't say stupid.
It is. It was the stupidest degree I ever went and got.
Oh man.
I've never regretted a higher degree ever than I do that MBA. Seriously.
Wow. Oh,
I regret
anyone say that. Okay.
I regret every second I spent getting that degree, truthfully.
Sorry. Well,
it's okay. But I mean, it doesn't say I don't put it to work or anything like that. But I'm just like real world experience can do so much more for you. Anyway, whatever. But my point is, this is my background. So like I love, mad props to Shannon McNabb, and I love her industry survey, and I would never ask her to include this. But the thing that drives me crazy about all the times we talk about, here's how much money I'm making. Nobody's talking about how much I'm spending, right? So like we have infrastructure costs. We have to host our websites. I just abandoned the majority of Adobe because that shit is unreal, right? So nobody's talking about those costs. And then, and whatever, I'm going to keep what I was about to say silent, and then we're pressing this mythology that Illustrator is necessary. And then we're forcing people to go spend money on that. thinking they need to do it to pursue this dream, which they don't in any way, shape, or form. Thank God Affinity is now free. But right, you know, and like we're not talking about like in my coaching practice, I have a Doodle subscription because I need to sync 3 calendars, right? So there's that. You know, we're not talking about right.
Don't forget
like
advertising
and
slash marketing, you know, because like my email platform that I have that I love, it's a really amazing platform for sending email newsletters. That is a very expensive subscription. And I can't really get rid of it because I've done A/B testing. I hate to say that, but I have with other platforms and none of them are as good as the one that I'm using.
Yeah.
So you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Well, tell us what one it is, Carrie.
Flowdesk.
Oh, Flowdesk, nice.
So I would challenge that.
I compared Kit, and recently, like in August of 2025, I had a MailChimp and Kit account. And I literally compared side by side everything from like adding people to segments to like, you know, the way you can embed videos and all this other stuff. And Flowdesk, like hands down, was 10 times better. And but they're like one of the most expensive because you get what you pay for.
Right.
So I would challenge her about Kit because I love it.
I have Kit
for years.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Flowdesk is more like artsy, like it's very pretty, right? And Kit is very like functional, businessy, you know. So it just depends on what you're going for. Yeah,
absolutely, agreed. Though they just got a Canva integration, so who knows?
Kit?
But Kit,
So Flowdesk had that already.
Well, I'm sure that's why they got it.
Probably. Right. Yeah. No, and they're all, I mean, a lot of them are really good, but all those hidden costs, Shannon does not include that. I mean, I don't know how she could, but that's a really good point, Tony.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the only
how much do we spend?
Right. Well, and I track it like minutely. I track it by quarter. So, but you know, like the only way I could see that being incorporated is like, what are your infrastructure costs? And this is what I mean by infrastructure costs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. She does.
It's just expenses. It's expenses. It's
what are your
right? It's so revenue versus actual profit, right? So that's, you know, my husband is actually starting a new business. Oh Lord. And you know, it's actually a franchise, but like, you know, as he's looking at numbers and doing all this stuff, he's like, you know, this branch is bringing in, you know, this much and this branch is bringing in this much, and it's all great numbers. But I'm like, that means zero. Who cares if they're bringing in $1 million if they're spending 950,000 of it to do it? It doesn't make any difference. So like revenue numbers, and I mean, I think that's true of, you know, artists, artists and like course creators and whatever who talk about their income numbers. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, as I don't share my income anymore. I used to share it a lot, but as I moved more into courses, I stopped sharing because I felt like I wasn't showing I didn't have the same career as most of my audience, which is just surface design. For a while, I was really very much surface design. Now I've moved into courses. But as I moved into courses, my expenses went way up with all that software stuff. As a surface designer, it was, yes, you have the things that you mentioned, the website, the Adobe, Kit, but then moving into courses, there's so much more. There's platform stuff. There's like, you know, to get through all the admin stuff. And I have a assistant who I pay for 10 hours a week. And then there's just a lot of other software stuff. So like my expenses went so much higher. Yes, I made more, but again, my profit margins weren't that different. So really it's about your profits. So when someone says I bring in $200,000, it's like, well, that's cool. But like, how much do you get to keep? Like how much did you spend, right? Like what's your profit? So
I do want to throw out there something really quick though, because I think it's the I can't even use my words tonight. Nobody knows about it. Unsung hero. That's the word I'm trying to think of, is the course platform Teachery. They have a one-time fee. It's like a lifetime style situation for like all their unlimited, and it's for designers, by designers, for designers. So I have it because it was included in a business coaching thing that I signed up for. I haven't used it because I'm not hosting any of my own courses yet. But like the Kajabis and like all of that, they are so costly. And everyone's being told to create a fucking course.
Mhm.
And so, like Teachery is out there. A lot of it's small, it's growing. A lot of people don't know about it.
You all
Here's
need
your
a
one-time
tools.
fee.
Look, we're talking about all the tools now. So you need a resources list at the end of this. You got to get your affiliate
true.
links up. Come on, ladies.
I know, right?
That's true. But, because like Carrie knows, I have been bitching hard about monthly fees recently, and I'm so
We
over
both
them.
have. Yeah.
know.
Adobe, recently stopping negotiating with people, and at the same time, because that's like a 2025 thing. Starting in 2025, Adobe, you used to be able to kind of talk their chat people into giving you a discount. I've been doing it for like 7 years or more. And, granted, I mean, I'm like, this is what I'm using. What can you give me for a deal?
Yeah.
Adobe decided in like 2025 that they're not negotiating anymore, or they'll give you like $1 off.
I just negotiated mine last week. And
You
I got
did?
Really?
Well, I had my
Oh.
assistant do it. But
Well, so I
she
must
did.
have
So
done it
okay.
wrong.
No. But she did. And yeah, the subscription's supposed to be 700 something. They upped the price the whole year. Oh, because I pay annual, but it's like 770 they were trying to charge me this year. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She negotiated down to like 250.
Oh my
Wow,
God. You have to tell us what she said.
huge.
So we can
I
put that in the
I
show
just give her notes. I'm like, we don't like you. Canva is coming for you. I'm going to switch to Affinity. I just give her the hot
Right.
points because they know
Procreate.
they know that they are in, like all artists are mad about AI. Like, they know the talking points that people are so over Adobe and they're not the industry standard anymore. And so they should be negotiating because they're ridiculous. So
Yeah. It really is.
I don't know what she actually said, but I gave her some talking points.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of companies that used to do subscription are doing lifetime one-time fees now, or they're becoming free. So there's that. But yeah, a lot of the back end stuff, especially for doing courses. Elizabeth, I know you do a lot on YouTube, but you have a platform.
Yeah,
that you
my
use for
courses are
teaching,
on
right?
Teachable. Yeah, is my
Okay.
course thing,
Yeah.
which I also just negotiated because I got all my deals at Black Friday, so they're all coming up to be renew. The annual renewal is coming up, so that's what I try to negotiate everything down. But Teachable. I like Teachable. I don't know about Kajabi. Teachable this year hasn't been as great. Their customer service been getting slower. Of course they're adding in all these like things that they think are great, which is AI. Like make a course in 2 seconds with AI. It's like, no, you're not. That's not useful. Like I'm just gonna tell them, hey, can you make me a course about service design? And they're just gonna like put it together. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, of course I'm not making a course with just AI. Like that just so anyway.
Right.
But in general, I've been using them for 5 years. I've mostly been happy with them. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And kind of like bringing the two things together, I think one of the reasons that there is no straight line to success is because it honestly comes down to who you want to be in any given point in time, right? And what I mean by that is, do you want to spend time pitching your art? Mm-hmm. If not, then you're not ready for licensing, right?
Right.
So what else are you going to look at? Do you want to do wholesale? Well, like if you don't want to learn about how to do products and keystone pricing and all the things that go with it, then wholesale is not the right path for you. Mm-hmm. But there are all these different, options that you could do, right? And so you kind of have to it takes a lot of internal analysis to sit down and go, what do I, and like in the coaching call I did today, what do you want to do first? That's what I asked her. What do you want to do first?
Yep.
And then focus there. And I was like, take your top 3, rank them, and then focus on that. But then the other side of that is what we've all been talking about, like the expenses of it all. I had a coaching session last month and she asked me, what's the one thing you would do differently? I told her I wouldn't become an LLC. And she was like, what do you mean by that? Everyone says you should become an LLC. And I said, you can do everything that you are doing as an LLC as a sole proprietor and just, claim because when you're a single member LLC, and listen to our episode with Hannah Cole that we've already recorded, if you don't because I'm not the tax expert, she is, but it's validated there. When you're a single member LLC, the IRS treats you like a sole proprietor. Mm-hmm. Right. So you get absolutely no tax benefit from it. You get a legal protection from it, but not a tax benefit. but you are now have a profit motive because you have told the IRS that you're a business. Right. And so now you are expected to turn a profit. And there's like a time frame when the IRS is going to start looking at you if you're not turning a profit. So why do you need that pressure? Be a sole proprietor, claim your income, but be a sole proprietor. So you don't have that. Like, so if you're not doing anything that year, you just don't claim any freaking income.
Right.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, but once you say you're a business, psychologically and legally, you have to turn a profit.
Yeah. I do like the protection of the LLC though.
But you
I
can
don't
get
know if I've
insurance for
needed
that.
it yet.
I think it's just not
business insurance and an LLC and an attorney because
okay.
I am paranoid.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just shouldn't, it doesn't necessarily have to be like you're, okay, I'm a business, like I learned to draw yesterday, I'm a business today, and an LLC tomorrow, and that's it. Like it can be
it's
like,
definitely not
wait
necessary.
until you have some clients, wait until you have some like, income. And that, if that means it's not for the first 3 years, then fine. But like, as you start getting moving, I think that it can be beneficial, and especially for, legal protections. But you're right, tax wise, there's not necessarily a benefit to that. So if you're doing it as your first thing, or as like, I need to get a website and I need to get an LLC today before I can even pitch my work.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You don't.
And I was honestly surprised how many people like they're getting LLCs in their first year.
Yeah. I don't even.
Yeah. And to be clear, I mean, I wouldn't have made Al Medicine an LLC. I mean, I had an LLC for my freelance stuff, and I just transferred a lot of stuff and changed things up. But I'm like, I wouldn't have added that aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't need that in the very beginning when I was learning surface design and doing all that other stuff.
Right.
But that advice is out there though.
That's
the problem.
Exactly.
People are telling artists that are new that they need to become an LLC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard it from multiple places. I cannot tell you right now where I've heard that from.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But that's another cost. So, that's that right there is, and especially like, it depends on, if you're naming your business, like, okay, here's my business name, LLC. Well, what if you switch gears and want to do something different? Now you're stuck with that name, that business name.
Yeah.
So,
and Kara, I think that might be where the advice is coming from, because you can't protect a business name if you don't declare yourself a business, right? So like, say I wanted to lock down my business name, I have to become an LLC to do it. As a sole proprietor, you can't do that. So that's probably where the advice is coming from, but it's still faulty advice.
Right.
Your business name
definitely
can be
not necessary.
Your business name can be ABC Art Designs, and then you can go out and be whatever you want it to be as a DBA. And a lot of people don't realize that. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So let's talk about some solutions. So Elizabeth, give us the one straight line then, okay?
So let me walk you through the straight line that I've planned for you. No, I mean, I think I have some ideas, but they're all going to sound like cliches, but cliches are cliches for a reason, so we'll do it. The first thing is, don't compare yourself, because it's never a one-to-one comparison, right? So looking at someone and saying, why can't I just license my work because they drew this cool Christmas card and I drew this cool Christmas card, so I know my work is good enough. It's like, well, they probably built that relationship over the course of 8 years, or they used to work for that company and then they started licensing with them once they went solo, or what, you just don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And it's never as like straightforward as you probably are making it in your mind, or as social media makes it seem, right? Like we're so used to those. I mean, honestly, some of my favorite reels are the reels that go from like an iPad screen of a drawing with like a clap, and then it's a greeting card with a clap, and then it's like on some other product with a clap, and it's like, it makes it seem like it's this instantaneous thing. A 15-second reel is not going to be your career. So you don't need to compare yourself to that.
Right.
Huge one.
I love that.
It's hard to do though. And then the other thing, I mean, this has been true for me. And I mean, I've been in business now for, 13, 14 years. And I'm not a patient person, so I continue to get frustrated by, things taking way longer than I want them to. But the whole like try to enjoy the journey and release your expectations, and it's not about the destination thing, like it sounds so like not cool. But because it's just like, come on, I just want to get there, I want to have that licensing deal, or I want to have that full-time income or whatever. But truly, that's where I'm at. Like, I really am just like, all right, we're going to try this thing and let's see how it goes. I don't even set goals for like things anymore. I'm just like, this sounds like it could be fun. Let me try this. Like, I feel like drawing this. Let's try it. I want to get my work on with this company. Let me pitch to them. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I really just try to like go with the flow and just try to enjoy the whole path. And when I compare it to what I could be doing, which would be like working in a full-time job, even when I worked in-house as a designer for almost 10 years. And that was cool, but I still wouldn't want to go back to that. I would still choose being, the unknowns and the frustrating parts of being an independent, because of all the flexibility that I do have, that I can be like, oh, this isn't working, and then go take a nap, instead of being like, oh, this isn't working. I guess I will take a walk around the office building block and then come back and have to keep going. So I still would choose this career over working back in an office. So just try to enjoy that journey. How about you guys? I have a couple more, but if you have any options, I am all ears.
I'd love to hear at least one more, just because you came up with this topic and it's such a good one, and I think this is going to be one of the most resonating podcasts that we've had, because you're kind of touching on why we created this podcast. Because the unrealistic expectations that you're just going to become, you're going to say, I'm going to draw a picture and I'm going to become a surface designer, and all of a sudden you're going to be pulling in a 6-figure income and quitting your corporate job. So if you have one more you want to share.
I sure do. I got to make lists. Well, I guess, the idea that, I think Tony said something about this, but because when you were saying that the book company had been following you for 2 years, right? And you had no idea. The whole idea of you are planting seeds and you don't know what's growing beneath the soil and all that stuff. So like, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're saying like, why can't I do this? Again, if you're getting into that comparison trap, like, there's nothing wrong with you that you didn't make $100,000 in your first year of service design. Like, I promise you. Like, there's almost something wrong with you if you did, and not wrong, but like something very different about you, right? So
something weird is going on there.
Something's going on. So no, just to say, like, it's not you, there's nothing wrong with you, and that you don't know what's growing beneath the surface and like what could come of it. So as much as we do attach a lot to, income goals, I mean, that's one of the like ways that we measure success. There is so much. I like to like remind my students when they are getting frustrated, because guess what? Everyone does that. Look at where you were 6 months ago. Look at where you were a year ago. Look at your designs from a year ago. You've made so much progress. Look at what marketing you had 6 months ago. You didn't even have a portfolio website. Now, when you pitch yourself, you can link someone to your work. Like, look at all the things you've set up. Your Instagram that used to have pictures of your cat, and now it has pictures of your art so that people can find you. All the things that you've done so much. So you are planting those seeds, and things are percolating and growing, but it's annoying that it takes a long time to sprout, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
Yeah. I have to say, like, building on what you said, one of the things to not, and believe me, I am guilty of this, is if you're planting those seeds and you're putting yourself out there, it is really easy to go, yeah, but I didn't get any likes on that. But I didn't make any money from that. Or I made like 5 cents or something like that. But the thing is that you don't let that, I mean, obviously it's easier said than done, but try not to let that stop you, because it's not like you're going to necessarily have a one-to-one. You're going to have like immediate positive feedback when you put yourself out there. It might take 20 times of you posting something, like maybe you do a little series of illustrations and maybe they're just little 100-day project, little doodles that took you 5 minutes and you post them on Instagram. Maybe it's going to be, the 30th one that you post. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying before people start noticing and going, oh, I like the way she draws cats or whatever. So you have to be patient with yourself and the world when you don't get immediate instant gratification, because I am guilty of this. And I think a lot of artists are too. One of the things about being a visual artist is you get instant gratification when you sit down to draw something, if you're having a good drawing day.
Right.
And you draw something and you're like, oh my God, I love that. Tony, you and I are both writers.
Right.
You know how that is not what happens with writing at all. It is rare that I've ever sat down and written something and gone, I freaking love it. It takes me many edits.
Right.
But being an artist, we're drawn to this profession because we get to put our hand on a piece of paper, move a pencil around, and then see something that's a picture of something. And we
creating
expect that
something
same kind of, and we expect that same kind of instant gratification when we put our art out there with the intention of making money on it or getting feedback. So just remember that and realize that that's not necessarily the way the world works, and you just have to be patient and keep doing what you're doing.
It's the iteration, it's the practice. You're getting better at putting yourself out there. You're getting better at how you're presenting. You're getting better at your art. You're getting better at all the things, and that iteration and that practice is what builds things and builds that traction.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast is an example of what, Carrie, you were saying. We have a minuscule social media following, but we, as a podcast, we've done really well.
Yeah.
But like, if you were just to go look at our followers and how many people actually, I mean, we get DMs. I will say that we get DMs, but and we get emails. But like liking the reels I post and all the other stuff, it's non-existent. It's barely there.
Yeah.
But I can show you the numbers that matter, which is in how the podcast is performing as a podcast, right? But our social media would never, ever give you the picture of the true state of this endeavor between us. So yeah. Carrie, was that your advice?
I guess, yes, that's my advice. And my other advice is don't try to do all the things. I am right now trying to streamline and get rid of things that I threw spaghetti at the wall, thinking maybe I'll throw this spaghetti and it'll stick. And some of it did stick. But then I realized I had spaghetti all over my walls.
And now you have dried spaghetti,
And I'm like, oh no, I can't. It's running down the walls. I can't catch it. I don't know. This analogy has gone way off the tracks. But anyway, don't try to do all the things, because you can't do all the things. You're going to burn yourself out. Just because there are a lot of income streams and there isn't a straight line, try to focus on the thing that you really think. Even if you spend 1 million hours doing it and you don't get anywhere or make any money, at least you had fun doing it.
Yes. Yes.
So
I'm going to sound all corporate or whatever because of that stupid MBA I talked about before, but minimize your costs. Please just minimize your costs.
Yeah.
Like as you're getting started, because Carrie, you stole the one I wanted to say, which was, focus on one thing, but that's
sorry.
okay. So no, but seriously, I mean, because like the more we talked about in this episode, I'm like, that's the thing I think like runs away from people, especially because so many of them are monthly subscriptions. And you don't think about it. So like the easiest way to turn a profit is reduce your costs so that as you're growing and you're not bringing in a lot of income, like Carrie, I get you about Flowdesk, but like if you're just starting a newsletter,
you don't need Flowdesk. No,
right?
No. Yeah.
Free
Kit,
up to 1,000 subscribers or whatever.
Yeah. I'm only paying
10,000.
that for Flowdesk because I already was established. Yeah.
Right. And they had the unlimited, which they don't have anymore, and all this other stuff. But like, for instance, with Kit has a newsletter plan that is free up to 10,000 subscribers. Right.
Yeah.
So Affinity is now free. Like Canva has a great free
Procreate is
Procreate is
$10 one cost.
One-time fee, right?
One
a lot
time.
of sites like one of the social media platforms that you use, Tony. A lot of companies are now switching to a one-time lifetime fee.
Yes. Right. And Carrie's referencing Patty Post, which I use for social media now.
Okay.
One-time lifetime fee, multiple social medias. I'm not an affiliate. That does not exist yet for them. I still say go get it. So like as you're bringing in small amounts of income, the lower your costs are, the more you have profit potential, which is going to be better for your psyche, which is going to keep you going, which is going to keep you invested and make you feel better in the long run. So
I like it.
There you go.
That's great advice.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I think we are done with that portion of the conversation. So Elizabeth, let's do hot seat questions. All right. I've been having a lot of fun with these this season. So the first, what is your least favorite software platform that everyone loves, but you just can't?
All right. I thought about this for a while. I'm going to go slightly off from like actually drawing, but I'm going to say Adobe Premiere, which is like the video editing software of, I don't know, everyone, I guess. But not me, because I sort of I am loath, despite having over, I don't even know, I think over 150 videos on YouTube. I'm loath to call myself a YouTuber. And so I am just like, what is the easiest way to edit these videos? What is the fastest way? How can I make this work? And I have tried a lot of different things. Currently, I use Descript, which is like based on the transcript itself. So you can basically like delete words and it will delete that section of the video. So I can say I can try it a couple ways and then just delete the one that I don't like or whatever. So that's the one I currently use, but I did try a bunch of them, but I tried to dig into Premiere because I do have the CC subscription, and I was just like, this is way too dense for what I want to be. So not for me.
My brain just exploded, by the way, because I didn't know that was even possible technically.
Descript. Oh yeah, Descript is good. I like it.
I use iMovie because it's free.
Oh yeah, I use that too.
I had the same thing with Adobe Premiere. I'm like, whoa, I can't do this. Never mind. I opened it and closed it within 5 minutes.
That was me with it too. I was like, oh no, this is pretty too much.
Yeah. I do use iMovie as well. But there are some limitations, and then Descript with the thing. Sometimes I go back and forth, but yes.
So, but the way you decide, I can't get it out. Descript. That was like, whoa! I want to know what that is. So I'm gonna look at that for real. Okay, next. Least favorite buzzword that you wish you could erase from everyone's vocabulary.
All right. I think you guys are going to relate to this one. Passive income. Yeah. Y'all know it does not exist.
Nope.
It does not exist. Scalable income is what I've been calling it, right? So when you're not trading hours for money per se, that's what I decided when I got into courses. I was like, I was working freelance and licensing, but the freelance part was the biggest part of my income. And it was getting like, I'm working 40, 45 hours. I can't really work. I don't want to work more hours, but I can only make sort of so much at that working that hours. But with courses, my thought was it's not going to be passive, and it certainly is not, but it can be scalable. I can, in theory, make these courses and then sell it to a bajillion people. Now, I have not sold it to a bajillion people. I am not a massive course economy of my own, but in theory, it is a scalable thing. But passive income just doesn't exist. There is so much work involved in passive income. I can't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And I appreciate that language. I like that scalable income. I think I'm going to adopt that. I like that. All right. Last one. What is your least favorite piece of advice you hear floating around our industry?
This was a tough one. I will say signature style. It's not the worst advice to have a signature style. It's not even bad advice. It's just, maybe I'm just salty because I don't have a signature style. And so, and I've managed to make a career of it. So it's okay. Like as a freelancer, and certainly when I worked in-house, I was expected to do a lot of different styles, and it's worked out for me. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure for new artists to like, I've got to figure out my style. I need my signature style. If I don't figure out my signature style, I can't pitch. I can't do anything. I'm stuck and I don't know what my signature style is. I like to do this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's okay. You'll be okay. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll figure it out. If you need to figure it out, you'll figure it out. If not, that's fine too.
I agree. You know, for me, I think that's like, if I ever get asked this hot seat question, it would be like, that's my buzzword that I hate, because I think what they really mean is your artistic voice, right? Like, what is it? What is your point of view? Like, if the three of us were given the same prompt, our way of thinking, our way of seeing we would produce different things. And then I hold the pen differently than Carrie holds the pen differently than you hold the pen, you know, Elizabeth. So it's like, it's going to come out, it's going to be rendered differently. And you can't avoid how you hold a pen. That's going to change how it comes out on screen or on your paper or whatever. And that artistic voice becomes signature to you. Because I don't feel like I have a signature style, but I have lots of people tell me, I know your work.
Right. I do. You know, other people can see it very often more than you can see your own, because I don't think I do either.
Right.
And people think I'm crazy when I say that. So it's just, don't worry about it as much. I think that's signature style advice is for if you are looking to achieve a specific goal, maybe like you want to go work you want to get an illustration agent, and you want to give them a piece, you know, a body of work that's like 50 to 100 pieces that all look the same, that then they can go out and use to pitch you for freelance work. Like that is when it's useful. But if you're not doing that and you're just doing licensing and you have clients that want different things for different, you know, age groups and whatever, then you can do great without a signature style.
Yeah. I agree. Well, cool. I think that is a wrap. So before we let you go, Elizabeth, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah. ElizabethSilver.com is where you can find out about my courses. You can see my blogs. I'm on YouTube at Elizabeth Silver as well. Lots and lots of free advice and also interviews with other industry professionals. So if you dig these podcasts that have these kind of interviews, you can do the same thing on my YouTube channel. So check me out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you on the show. I really appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was awesome.
If you're loving this podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, we'd love it if you could rate and review us. Your support helps more people discover the show, and it keeps us going strong. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. I'm Tony.
And I'm Carrie. It's okay to be cranky.
In the meantime, keep creating. Two Cranky Creatives is produced by me, Tony Federico, and my co-host, Carrie Cantwell. Carrie handles sound editing, I wrangle marketing and communications, and together we keep this cranky train on the tracks. Thanks for listening.